Family Guy, one of the greatest and one of my favorite cartoons of all time. After the golden era that was CBBC, Disney Channel, Cartoon Network, and Nickelodeon, I found this show and never looked back. Specifically, I've rewatched season 4 of this show countless times because it really is the greatest season with so many memorable and outrageous episodes. But one episode I recently remembered existed is actually a wrestling episode of Family Guy called Peter's Sister, which takes place in one of the more recent seasons. The premise of this episode is that Peter's sister, Karen Griffin, comes to town for Thanksgiving. And meanwhile, Stewie and Brian go a little too far amidst a cleanse to avoid overeating. And the thing with this episode is I've definitely seen it before, but that was like 7 or 8 years plus 1 stroke ago, so... yeah. So my memory didn't quite remember what even happened, so I decided to go back and watch it. And let me tell you, what an episode this is.
What did you hit? What happened to my spreadsheet?
In this scene, Brian is watching porn with earphones in, like he's listening to the Heart Part 6. Oh, wait, no, hang on a second, because if he was listening to the Heart Part 6, he would have turned that shit off 5 minutes ago. We then see a Stewie Griffin Monster Energy cutaway.
Monster Energy. Put it in your body and ask questions later. It's green, so it's nature.
Stewie perfectly describing just how it feels to taste one of those naked smoothie drinks. You think everything's gonna be fine. You think everything's normal. Oh, this is a healthy drink. And then bang, 1,000 grams of sugar. The episode then progresses and we see a Guy Friends advert or commercial.
I thought you were a big Olympics guy. Yeah, I like them okay. Huh.
Guy Friends.
You know, I kind of used to be like this. I was kind of like, oh, okay, like the Olympics are coming around again, like I'll watch, but I'm not like super locked in. But then they added skateboarding into the Olympics. Now I'm stupidly locked in. The Griffins then get a letter from Peter's sister.
He said it! He said it!
The letter essentially reads that she's been spending the last few Thanksgivings with their mother, but now that she's passed away, she'd love to come spend it with the rest of the family. But I think it kind of would have been cooler, just spitballing here, if they would have put more character development into a turn-of-the-century take on all comers, Griffin.
I'm telling you guys, it's gonna be a disaster. Just like the alternate ending of Back to the Future.
If I'm gonna disappear into nothing, I might as well bang my mom.
Harry! My name's Marty. I'm in a picture.
This show is insane, dude. My favorite Family Guy Back to the Future bit is actually one from the earlier seasons where Marty McFly comes running and Stewie's on the roof and he's like, what? I have to tell you about the future. And Stewie's like, what? I have to tell you about the future. What? I have to. No, Michael, let me cut you off right there. I have to tell you about your future. So good. Oh, I love this show, man. Moving swiftly on as we get closer to the debut of Peter's wrestler sister, they return to the Cosby Show, but knowing what we know now. Oh, good God. I don't think I could show any of that. Basically, Bill Cosby bad.
I was so busy not seeing color, I didn't see the either.
Don't be a racist, but also don't be a racist. Cristiano Ronaldo.
And Karen? And you must be Meg.
Do that to me!
This is basically how every Big Show Rey Mysterio match went, give or take.
Lois Pewter Schmidt, the one that got away. I'm just joshing, kid. Auntie's not a biscuit bumper.
Hang on a second, we gotta pause it right there. What the hell is a biscuit bumper? Urban Dictionary? Do I? Dare I? I'm going to. 2 or more hefty female college athletes, usually bowlers, who engage in mutual genital stimulation, thereby bumping their biscuits together. I need a minute. Ladies and gentlemen, here's a retro DDJ moment. God.
I was fucking terrified. What if you would just grabbed my balls, threw me to the ground, and his dad would have kidnapped me? No more DDJ. Okay, now.
Peter then says hello to his sister, and she 2K20s right in his face like he used to do to Meg. I also just realized I haven't really reacted or mentioned it yet, but there's kind of like a subplot going on right now with Chris. He's like, you know, making references to a politician, Varga or something like that. Vargas? Listen, I have no idea if that's like a reference of the times or something, or maybe I'm just too fucking British to understand. I don't know. But either way, it all ended with the same way most Chris stories end, with him being horny and with him, you know.
Wow, Karen, nice to meet you. I'm Glenn Quagmire. I didn't know Peter even had a sister.
Yeah, I mean, neither did anyone else, Quagmire, but it's season 14 of the show, so we've got to think of some new arcs, you know? I mean, seriously, there's only so much you can run the same jokes into the ground over and over again. Okay.
Wait a second, I know you. You're that lady wrestler.
Heavy flow. You're heavy flow.
In the flesh and blood.
First of all, Cleveland, we actually call them superstars now because that's how far the women's evolution has come. We don't call them that anymore, okay? They're women's superstars.
Second of all, they call her Heavy Flow. That's her gimmick. Yuck.
What are you, ashamed of me, chin nuts?
Oh my god, his chin kinda does look like nuts. Ha ha! I never noticed that.
I'll punch him in the nuts.
It's sort of clever.
This really reminds me of high school. I feel like there was an era of all of our schooling careers where we were all just kind of obsessed with ball. But seriously, it was like ball tapping. There was, is pee stored in the balls? There was, how much hair do you have on your balls? That was the weirdest conversation I've ever had with my French teacher. No, but he was actually a convicted pedophile in the end, so that's not a joke either.
I remember when you called out Andrea the Giant the day after September 11th.
What just happened was a national tragedy, but it's nothing compared to what I'm gonna do to Andrea the Giant! We will never forget what happened yesterday, but you'll also never forget what's gonna happen September 17th at the Jack Witchy Sports Arena!
It's so funny because this is some wild shit that WWE would do. Also, Andrea the Giant, nice, smart. Tight.
Peter, I can't believe you've kept your sister a secret. She's amazing. Yeah, she's crazy strong. Like Superman on a date.
Yeah, I wasn't here, but I heard her scream, so I came flying in and found her like this. Unsolvable.
Again, another rather graphic thing I probably can't show in this episode, but Superman is a bad person, okay? And he's a bad superhero. Quite frankly, you should all stan Homelander, okay? He's my hero. He's who would get my vote in this superhero thing, okay? I love Homelander. Did I do a good job, Homelander? This episode continues to walk along, unlike Joe, where Peter is in the kitchen and he's stressed about going back out there to face his sister amidst the PTSD of her bullying him. Lois also mentions that Bonnie just changed Joe on the table, which is such a fun visual, isn't it? There's then a cutaway gag again where Peter is all like, well, this isn't the first time I've lied. He basically says to the cab driver that he lives at the White House, lies to get in there, they let him in, and then check to see if the cabbie is gone, and he has not.
More stories! More stories! Hey, tell one where Peter is a nincompoop. Or maybe a silly Billy. Oh, man.
You know, Silly Billy really needs to make a comeback as an insult. Oh, what are you doing, you silly Billy? I also want to see the return of, Butthead. That was a good one back in the day. Feller. I like that. Oh, hello, Feller. And Consarn-it. Can you tell I've been playing Red Dead 2 again recently? Peter then says, let's carve the turkey, but Aunt Karen has already done it and Peter's depression continues. I will say, I am kind of starting to feel a little bit bad for PP at this point in the episode. Like, he is just like, I bet Meg feels fantastic though. She's got to feel on top of the world. I can imagine though, Mila Kunis probably read this fucking episode script and she was like, holy shit, an episode where my character isn't being horrifically bullied? Let's fucking go.
Hey, Karen, later you gotta show us some of your wrestling holds.
Yeah, what's that trademark finishing move of yours?
The Toxic Shock. Oh, yeah, that move is badass.
Gotta say, that finisher name is dog shit. You know, a guy like me, a creative genius like me would have gone with the Bloody Mary. Gross. After this, Peter exclaims that she's ruining Thanksgiving the way Tim Burton ruined the 4th of July.
Every president is dead. Everybody's gonna die. I'm not gonna get you.
I have no words.
Fat chicks with black hair get tattoos of me.
Fat chicks with black hair get tattoos of me. I literally don't get it though. Why would Tim Burton ruin the 4th of July? It's literally just another day.
God, I love this time of year. It's just past all the amazing colors of fall and before the white of winter. Just brown and gray. Magical.
Or as I like to call it, my birthday season, which over the last couple of years has been closer to a wintry hell. It's great being born at the start of November. I love it.
Meg, Skinny, hot chocolate, and the bus. PP, you got the crumbs. Let's go.
All right, let's do it, Pop. I'm gonna make some sports points for you.
I've got to say, I've always loved Stewie Griffin's arc in this show. He goes from being a sociopathic genius to being gay and adorable. kind of like Neil Patrick Harris. Just looking at the teams here for today's game, we've got a fairly formidable lineup against Hot Wheels, Gaby, Fatty McLoudmouth, Hey Joe, let's play some football, and a literal Malteser. I'm sure this is gonna work out fine.
Time out. Did anyone tape the parade? Please tell me someone taped the parade.
Like I literally just said, Gaby. Not that there's anything wrong with that. No, absolutely not. My father's gay.
I mean, it's fine if that's who you are. Absolutely. I mean, I have many gay friends. My father's gay.
Look,
Oh my god, she's doing the toxic shock!
Okay, I kind of take back what I said earlier. The name sucks, but the finisher itself, the submission, is kind of fire. She basically just suffocates you with her thighs and her legs until you can't breathe, until you pass out. God, I wish Ice Spice would do that to me. You know, none of this would have happened if Joe would have just turned into Megatron again like he did in that one episode. That would have won them the game. You remember that one old Family Guy episode where Peter is super discriminatory towards wheelchairs? And then Joe becomes a fucking machine of handicapped people? Great episode. Further embarrassment ensues as Peter redevelops his stutter and literally pisses his pants. And then Meg starts to feel sorry for her dad as she realizes this is what's been happening to her. She goes up to Peter and says, you need to confront Karen because Meg knows more about getting bullied than anyone else, and Peter's like, what? You do? You know, one thing I do respect about Meg Griffin is that after all her years of bullying, she's still a pretty good person at the end of the day. Like, I gotta say, if that was me personally, after all that bullying, I'd become a super villain, or worse, I'd go ahead into GTA Online and buy an Oppressor MK2 just to piss everyone off.
Come on, cuz.
Not that I've done. Hey, Lois. I just blew this son of a bitch.
You can't quit. What if Muhammad Ali had quit?
Ah, my grandchildren. Who would like me to read them a book? Ah, my favorite. Hot soup.
Meg begs Peter to stand up to Karen so she'll stop terrorizing him, and then he'll stop terrorizing Meg as a result of that, and that is absolutely what happened.
I am gonna become a lady wrestler and defeat Heavy Flow in the ring.
Wait, what? No!
Oh yeah, I'm sure this is gonna end well.
Hey Meg, Thanksgiving's over. Come help me with the Christmas decorations. Meg! Help me with the Christmas decorations!
That's way too late, okay? I'm like, oh, it's August 31st, now it's September 1st, now it's Christmas season, bitch.
I am in this outfit. I am Maxie Petty, the fiercest enemy of Heavy Flow.
Peter, you look... Okay, that's clever.
Yeah, that is pretty clever.
Karen made me feel worse than a guy getting cut from a baseball team.
I'm sorry, Kyle. You can't do this boring, stupid thing with us.
Damn, boring, stupid thing. I thought I was watching Family Guy, not the Cleveland show. I'm sorry. There's then a Steven Seagal bit, which I didn't really understand, so I'm just gonna leave it to Cleveland to sum up.
What are you? Hey, fat. All right, Peter. Most professional wrestlers become addicted to painkillers at some point. So I figure, why don't we just start now?
Yeah, it's starting to get a little too real.
So you gonna do that wrestling stuff?
Nah, I'm gonna stick with these. I would crime for more of these.
I'm not gonna say which wrestler this reminds me of because I love him, but yeah. The training arc for Peter versus Peter's sister is basically Quagmire being like, I'm gonna hypnotize you so you can go back to your childhood and get mentally prepped. And then Peter becomes a kid again.
Hey, can I make my husky jeans into cutoffs for swimming?
Ah, forget it, you're ready.
Then he becomes Dante Inferno for some reason and back to being a kid again, and Quagmire just says, fuck it, you're ready. 10 out of 10 training arc. It's time for the Divas of Wrestling Championship. My god, a 450 splash being used as an opener in a match? I mean, what the hell happened to this business?
And we've got quite a match tonight between Heavy Flow and another woman whose name I've forgotten, but I'm sure is a gross pun. Right you are, Bill. Tonight she's up against Her Majesty's Secret Service.
Her Majesty's Secret Cervix.
They had to foul me!
These two gals have over 8 meters of ass crack between them. 1, 2...
The commentator also just went ahead and said they have, quote, 8 meters of arse crack between them. Anyway, Heavy Flow wins the match with a fairly W finisher as she holds up the women's title.
Once again, a Heavy Flow has ruined another ladies' evening.
It's fairly smart. You've got to give that to them.
Who the hell are you? I'm Maxie Petty. It looks like this heavy flow is P because you're yellow.
Well, that didn't quite track, but the crowd seems to be on board.
You know what? I've kind of got to agree with old Mikkel Redstone over there. Do you want another shot of that promo or... The match starts off fast-paced and instantly Maxi Paddy exposes the business, referring to Heavy Flow as Karen. What is it with these amateurs in the business nowadays? I mean, won't somebody please think of the business?
Butt scratcher!
Butt scratcher!
Butt scratcher! Butt scratcher! We then go ahead and brawl, which leads to Karen hitting, I kid you not, a springboard Frankensteiner into a submission. This shit is lit. Hang on.
Oh my god, she's taking it too far. Heavy Flow is gonna break this girl's arms.
Woman's arms. Come on, Bill.
You see, this is what I've been trying to get across the whole time. This guy gets it.
Tell Stewie he's in charge of the show now.
Okay, seriously though, why did Stewie never get a spin-off? You're telling me nobody stood up in a meeting and said, I've got an idea. I want to cook this one up. Even worse, if someone did go ahead and say that, you decided, you know what, we're not going to spin off the good characters. Cleveland. Then Meg shows up and I'm sure this isn't going to be another insane nickname.
Say hello to Teen Laquifa.
Okay, never mind.
We have a new champion. This is one for the books, if anyone kept track of this nonsense.
That really reminds me of AEW for like that whole year where they just forgot they had win-loss records. It was like a super big thing. And then they were like, win-loss record? What the fuck are you talking about? What?
Thanks, stranger.
Dad, it's me.
Stewie then shows up and is like, oh, somebody told me I was running the show now. Well, this is the direction we're going in if I do. And let me tell you, Stewie, we will be there no matter what.
Oh, you're alive. Sorry, I was told I was in charge now.
Peter, have you talked to Karen?
I called like 4 times, but she's not out of the coma yet. Apparently they usually use fake chairs, but Meg used a real one.
Oh, well, would you look at that? Meg Griffin worked herself into a damn shoot.
Do they think she's gonna survive?
It could go either way.
Unless, of course, the writers randomly decide, you know, oh, we want to do another wrestling episode, then, you know, all of a sudden, Karen Griffin is alive. She's gonna rise out of a coma like Rick Grimes at the start of The Walking Dead. I guess, really, if you could take away anything from this episode, there's one specific lesson you need to understand here, everyone. Don't work yourself into a shoot. That's the lesson.